Alright, welcome back. So, today we're going to go on a regular bot match, and I'll describe, talk about the very basic micromechanics. So in this game, there's a lot of things to talk about. However, it's really overwhelming to talk about it all at once. So for now, we're just going to talk about the micro. So the macro would be things about like tactics and strategy, and whatnot. That is kind of probably far more important than but you cannot really talk about the macro without the micro, is what I think. So, without further ado. So, this map is called Authentic. Yes, I guess we are talking a little bit about the map. So, basically, there's many maps, and also this is also Insta-CTF. That's what it's called the Instant Hit Capture the Flag. So, what that means is that one hit, one KO. One hit KO. Anytime it hits somebody, they automatically. There is no second shot that you have to hit. There is no gimmicks behind preventing these deaths. On the on the bottom left, it's obvious. The red cross sign is the health. So that's telling you that you have 1 HP. And you have 93 shots in your rifle. Okay. First things first, movement. So in this game, you can jump while running, and that is done by pressing spacebar or pressing the WASD keys. W is to move forward, A is to move left, E is to move right, and S is to move back. Oh, and he just took the flag. So the goal of this game is, long story short, take the flag, take it back home, and prevent others from doing that. And whoever scores a point, the way you score a point is get the flag, right? For example, right here, I'm seeing right now. Right, you get the flag, and then you run. Do this thing called the flag run, and then you return your flag as well. And once you return it, you can put your enemy's flag by your own, and this is how you score. Now, you cannot score if your team's flag is gone. So if it's not here, and if I bring the opponent's red flag, it's not going to score. What else? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So once you score, you get 1 point. First to 10 point wins, but there's also a timer on the top right of this HUD, which means that even though you might have, say, 6 or 7 points, by the time the timer runs out, they're going to calculate which team has the higher points, and that team wins. So either you win by time, or you win by reaching 10 points first. Okay, so let me kick the bots first, because it's kind of getting distracting. Okay, so in this game, you have two strategies. One is to be a really good aimer, just flick like that. Some people can do in one mouse swipe 360. I cannot do that. I can only do 90 at most. There's a reason. Different people are adept at shooting. For me, I need a low sensitivity because I cannot do these things called the micro adjustments. Micro adjustments are really difficult for me. For other people, it's a piece of cake. So that's why you can set your sensitivity. This is by the console, or you could do it in the menu bar that is shown in the previous video. My sensitivity, for example, if I can spell correctly, is 0.4. If I set it to say 4, then, well, I could just do that. Some people set it usually between like 1. Some people like this, so if I have a sensitivity of 1, I could do a 180 and a little bit more with my mouse pad. I don't prefer that whatsoever. What I prefer to do is called pre-firing. So in this game, so let me add a bot. Insert. Okay. Oops. Okay, so what I prefer to do is pre-fire. Oh. Oh, that's not an issue. Are we good? Oops, sorry. Okay. So what I prefer to do is called pre-firing. So pre-firing is really a map knowledge dependent skill set. So for example, right, I am not actually moving the mouse, not nearly as much. I am a little bit, but not really. I'm relying mostly on the A and T keys. So if I can predict where an opponent would be in maybe like a second, maybe even half a second, I'm just going to preemptively swipe my, for example, right? I know they're going to come from this path with some probability. It's quite obvious if my teammate was here and he got shot right here, right? And the kill feed on the top left showed that my teammate died. Then it's very well possible, or it's very probable, that an enemy will be here on this bridge. And that's why if I'm looking at like this, for example, then I'm going to preemptively move this way and swipe this way, make it easier for me to be parallel with the path. It's not just parallel, but actually, what is it called? Like concentric? No, not. It's like collinear with the path that the opponent is taking, right? I'm pretty much aligning where an enemy is going to be running with my crosshair, like that, for example, like this. So if I know he's running forward, like this. And that's pre-firing in a nutshell. Now, it's really hard to do if you don't really know where the opponents are. And that's why it's really important to have the kill feed at the top left to have a context clue for where people are or where people were in a few seconds ago. If your teammate was killed by some guy, then you would know where to go in the next 2-3 seconds. So this game is all about positioning and knowing where everyone's is. And then being able to predict, at least to a certain point, where people are going to be. So that's pre-firing. Now, pre-firing isn't just about pressing W and D. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a micro adjustment to do. So like that, for example, like this, like that, like that. So I definitely adjusted a little bit in the air. So that's what micro adjustments mean. So when you're moving your mouse, you're not always doing this. And so that's why if you want to preferentially have a easy to micro adjust sensitivity, then a low sensitivity is recommended. Now, most people don't have such a low sensitivity because people quite are frankly, I guess I just suck. But nonetheless, there is another strategy, which is just to do these like this mouse swipes, or flicking, as I just flick like that. So I'm not the best flicker in the world by a long margin, but there are people who just do primarily rely on flicking. Now, also, one thing I forgot to mention is the scope. So if you're looking to aim something far away, use the scope to pretty much simulate a close quarter combat scenario from a distance. So I think another thing to talk about is weaving. So I call this weaving. I don't really know the official term. So sometimes you're red territory, right? You're deep in the hot territory. So now I'm going to weave. So a bot is a little, different. How they can instantly hit you. So maybe I should go and talk about this. So whenever you shoot, as you can see, there's a cooldown. So shoot right now. There's a cooldown. The animation is not the most accurate representation of this cooldown, but it's more or less a few seconds. I don't actually know the actual hard numbers here. Every time you shoot somebody, you have to wait a little bit before you can shoot again. So in that brief period of reprieve, you pretty much have a vulnerability. Either you're vulnerable because you just shot, or they're vulnerable because they just shot. And that is the time in which you make these micro adjustments to plan out next shot. And this is the hard part for a lot of players. I've noticed that if a player is dying, it's not because of an instantaneous duel. It's not so much that you hit shots, it's more that you get shot at when you can't shoot back. So once again, I'm going to repeat myself. When you shoot, there's a cooldown, and during that cooldown, you cannot shoot back. And oftentimes, you want to shoot somebody when they're in their cooldown in an aim duel. So there's that. Okay. So I don't know what this map is. Oh yes, so this is another map. There's many maps, so it is kind of hard to memorize them all, but some maps are played far more than others. Okay. One last thing is a demonstration of how powerful a jump boost can be. So right now there's nobody here. So for example, right here, you have to get close. You have to get close and jump. However, you can also ensure that you'll get on top with a jump boost. Jump boost again. And yet another jump boost. I don't even know if I needed one. So I'm pretty sure I cannot make this jump without a jump boost. So this is definitely the jump boost. So the jump I meant to do was this way, not this way. But now I think I could. Oh, okay, I almost missed that. Yes, and then there's another one. So how do you do a jump boost? I didn't talk about this at all. A jump boost is done with it's a kind of a rhythm. So maybe think of it musically. So maybe in 120 beats per minute, I like think of it as like a 16th note, right? So 1 and a 2 and a so space bar and then shoot. So the timing is like a 16th note. So maybe it's like a ba-dum. It's kind of like a rhythm. Maybe a little faster than that. A little bit slower also works too. So I'm pressing spacebar and left click in like a rapid succession. So spacebar first, and then left click first. And that is how you do a jump boost. Now, if you're too slow, it doesn't really do anything. And if you shoot first, it also doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna demonstrate again. So spacebar and left click, and then spacebar and left click again. So that's the jump boost. And now, why is jump boost so important? Well, a lot of the times there's so many places that are inaccessible by a jump boost. But I guess I'll change it. I guess I'll change on a different map. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So there are certain maps where jump boosting is quite essential to, I guess, so-called weaving people. For example, is it this map? No. Oh no, actually, this is a good map to demonstrate. So this is a map called Acroseum or Acrosium. First of all, you might be a defender, or you might be an attacker, okay? And jump boosting here allows you to get on top of him. And this is a really nice sight. So he's having trouble hitting me because, you know, it's typically uncommon spot. This is how you can watch the flag. This is how you can watch the flag. Good lord, he's so good. I'm getting killed by a bot. So this is a good spot to hold. This is a good spot to hold to defend. And then there's another spot right here that's even better to defend. Now I want to demonstrate something that's very common in these Zauberbraten maps. It's the boost. So this thing is set by map to map. It's different. This boost, there's many kinds of boosts like that, and you could tell by the sound cue of like a boosting noise. That sound cue is everywhere for any boosts. Different boosts have different powers. For example, this one it's just that it's not as powerful as that one. And then depending on the map, there's like some that only boost you like small height. Okay. And verticality is always beneficial. A lot of players have trouble aiming high. Like for example, I cannot really aim high in an instant, and neither can most people. So this is how one way to establish like a sort of flow of casualties on the other side to successfully weave and get the flag. So that's the very basics. I'll talk more about the macro and some tips about aim duels in the next few videos. So see you guys later.